I'm Cherie.
I'm Chris. We are
Technomadia. Hey, we're getting pretty good at that. The date is May 21st at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If that is today's date when you're watching it, you are watching this live, and that means you can interact with us. If that is not today's date, then that means you're watching an archive and you cannot interact with us. Make sense?
Yeah, no time travel.
No time travel. We haven't invented that yet. Anyway, tonight's chat topic is mobile internet options for RVers, and we're going to talk about everything that we've learned in the last 7-8 years on the road of keeping online.
And we are coming to you live via mobile internet. We are broadcasting via an iPad mini hooked up to one of the rare and coveted unlimited iPad data plans that still exist.
Right. They only came out for the first 2 months that the iPad was released, and if you kept the plan for $30 a month, you get to keep your unlimited data.
Yes. And that plan actually gives you LTE or 4G data, and we actually had to switch to 4G from LTE just because sometimes 4G is faster than LTE, even on the same network.
Anyway, about 2 years ago, back in late 2012, we did a video chat by the same title, Mobile Internet Options for RVers. And when we got done with that one, the structure of that became the outline for our book, The Mobile Internet Handbook. And obviously this stuff changes often, so we thought it might be time to update that video. And if you've been following along, you might also know that we are currently rewriting the book as well. And we are doing an Indiegogo campaign, and you can contribute to that right at the bottom underneath the video if you are so inclined. And there's also a sign-up email list if you want to be notified when the book comes out. It'll probably be about a month or two.
Right. And I do want to comment on the commercials. I see a few things going through the chat thread. The Ustream free account that we're using, they have the right to throw in commercials and apparently pop-up ads now too. The last time we did a video, we were lucky. They put in no commercials whatsoever, and apparently today they are. We don't know when a commercial is going on, so if it cuts us off and stuff like that, we don't know it. But this entire thing is being recorded, and when the archive is saved onto YouTube, everything will be there without the commercials. So we apologize in advance. We don't want to pay the $90 a month for a pro $99 a month for a pro Ustream account. So we can't control the commercials. We don't know when they're there and when they're cutting us off. We apologize. That's the nature of doing this for free and for fun.
Right. Yeah, so we really do this for free and for fun. We just love doing these video chats. It's a fun way to share with you and get to share a little bit of our life. So we'll go ahead and get started.
Awesome.
So we're in Technomadia.
Oh yeah, we did that part.
Yes, we did that part. Yeah, yeah. We've been on the road now, well, just over 8 years for Chris and just over 7 for me. And we are software developers, so we depend on mobile internet to keep connected in our travels. So it has been an essential thing for us, for our careers, and to be able to RV full-time. And Chris actually has a background in mobile tech. Why don't you tell a little bit about that?
Okay, so I've been doing mobile technology forever. Since before there was Wi-Fi, I've had wireless networking. My most relevant background, I was the director of competitive analysis for Palm and Palm Source, so I traveled the world. And my job was actually the chief spy. I got to get all the cool gadgets and play with them, get them connected, do wireless internet and data as I traveled all over the world. It was quite a blast.
So yeah, mobile internet, it's essential for us. And we kind of have, because we've shared about our journey of keeping online on the blog and things like that, we've kind of become a go-to source for mobile internet options and information on that. And wasn't really intentional to do that, but we have. So this video chat, one reason we're doing it is at the end we would love your feedback on the information that we've presented, and we'll be taking questions as well.
And we are especially interested in your questions this time because we are in the process right now of rewriting the Mobile Internet Handbook, and so the things you ask about are the questions we know we need to focus on in the book. And if there are things that you want us to go off and research and write a book about, now is the time to tell us, hey, I really want to know more about this. And even if we don't have the answers right now, we will work it into the book. You'll get to help shape the future of the book. And I'm seeing quite a few people. Okay, I guess it's
being very commercially tonight.
Yeah, Ustream seems to be being trouble. I'm seeing enough people saying that it's working for them that that's a good thing.
So we're going to continue.
And so we're going to continue, and if it doesn't work for you for whatever reason, the
archive later.
Will be up. Yes.
So one of the most important things about mobile internet and doing it as you're an RVer is adjusting your expectations to realistic. Things have improved a lot over the last couple of years. Even in the last year, I'd say it's been significant
it
improvements.
is getting better.
But speeds may be variable as you travel across the country. You might be used to, if you're in a sticks and bricks house right now, you might have a cable or a DSL line coming into your home. that you're used to. Fast and unlimited.
Right. Fast and unlimited are words that are not tied to mobile internet in any practical sense.
Right. It's kind of like RVing and hot tub.
Yes.
They don't often go together.
Not unless you've got really crazy budgets.
Right. So your speeds are going to be intermittent. They're not going to be reliable. Your connection, your ability to connect and stay connected to a source like Wi-Fi or cellular, that's also going to be intermittent. You're not going to have this solid, always-on connection like you might be used to in an office or a home.
So for those of you who maybe haven't hit the road yet and are still back at home, there's a thing called data caps that you don't get when you have a home line, where you have a bucket that says you've got 5 gigabytes a month. And some of you might not even know what a gigabyte is, but it's, maybe think of that as 2 or 3 movies watched, or just a regular month of usage. And when you're done, well, your phone company will start charging you extra. That's not a good thing. You don't want that.
Mm-hmm. Right. So you got the data caps you have to deal with. That makes things like doing video work like this difficult unless you have an unlimited plan or an unlimited source of data. It also makes watching video, watching streaming, doing a lot of Skype calls with people, whether that's for work or personal use. It makes that sort of stuff expensive, and you have to think about the logistics of how you're going to get those sort of things done.
Yes. So part of the key for life on the road is just be prepared for our frustrations and come armed with. We have
wine. Wine helps a lot.
When you feel like whining about your connection, just drink wine. It is inevitable.
Yes. So mobile, the 4 primary ways that we deal with mobile internet connections is cellular data, public Wi-Fi sources,
then satellite, and cable and DSL. You might not think that's very mobile.
We'll get to that in a little bit. So cellular data, that's kind of become one of the primary ways that people who are mobile stay online. And it's becoming so prevalent. When we first hit the road, and here's our we've been on the road so long, spiel. When we hit the road 7 years ago together, we were blessed. We felt like it was going to be a fantastic, bright, cheery day because we got 1 XRT.
And we could still do quite a bit with that.
Yeah, but that was 2G speeds. It's kind of a little bit better than dial-up, if you remember those days.
Yes.
And we felt pretty good if we could stay connected at those speeds. We could do email, we could do basic surfing and routing and banking, and keep in touch with our clients.
Yep, exactly.
These days.
So where things are now is the cellular data speeds are actually, for most people, what you can get over a good cellular data connection if you're in a well-served Verizon or AT&T area with their LTE networks. We've actually seen 50 megabits per second, which most people can't even get via their cable or DSL modems at home. Speed in major metro areas is solid, but then you got to worry about those caps because you could use it all
quickly.
up very, very, very fast if you're not careful.
So in our years on the road, we've seen bandwidth become faster, cheaper, and more widespread, especially for cellular. So cellular, there's 4 major carriers that are nationwide: Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Sprint. There's a lot of regional carriers that might work for you. They might roam onto others. Like US Cellular is really prevalent up in like the Minnesota, Wisconsin area, but they roam onto other areas of the country. It works for some people, doesn't for others. But Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Sprint are the 4 major carriers that most of us on the road choose to go with.
Now there's a thing called what's called MVNOs. It's Mobile Virtual Network Operator. These are people that you'll see advertising and you'll see offering service. They don't actually own their own network. What they're doing is leasing network from one of the big operators. So you'll see a lot of them actually are owned by the major carriers, and they have like sub-brands, or there's the one that is our all-time favorite is Millennicom.
We'll get into that.
That is a MVNO, so you'll hear about that.
But of those 4 major carriers, there's really no perfect network. Now, if you're going to go with only 1 carrier and 1 carrier only, Verizon has the most coverage across the country. Right. They have the most LTE. Here's their coverage map.
This is our app coverage there.
They have the most across the country. Now, I only am showing 4G and above, because anything beyond that's roughing it, and who wants to rough it these days, right?
And in Verizon's case, their 4G and their LTE are one and the same.
Right.
AT&T, on the other hand, has a 4G network and an LTE network.
What I did on our app coverage, it allows you to overlay coverage maps. This is our app available for iOS devices. So I'm overlaying AT&T and Verizon on this, and you can see there's plenty of places where AT&T has service that Verizon doesn't, and Verizon has service where AT&T doesn't. So you can see as you scroll in.
So,
just a second, I got to do a cat emergency.
The cat is typing into the chat window right now. This could actually get kind of interesting. I'm very curious as to what she just typed.
She didn't get anything on there.
Okay. The keyboard just started beeping over on the other side.
Yes, sorry for that. So there is no perfect network. And so if you're going to go with one, I would say Verizon. They're going to be more expensive than any of them. You're going to have more data caps on them.
And there's some tricks to getting on the Verizon network cheaper. And then what we really, redundancy, if connectivity is important to you at all, having at least 2 networks on board goes so far into just, because even if you're in an area that is covered by 2 major networks like Verizon and AT&T, in your particular location, inside your rig, you might have a really crappy signal with one and a great signal with the other. So being able to go back and forth from Verizon and AT&T and just pick the best of the both is such an awesome way to go.
Right, so we keep both because there are so many times we'll get somewhere, especially because almost every RVer has been told that Verizon is a network to be on. You get to a crowded campground, the campground Wi-Fi is sluggish because everyone's on it. So everyone's on their Verizon jetpacks and MiFis.
And the Verizon is dog slow.
Because the tower's now overloaded. Well,
but
guess
we switch over to AT&T, it's like a rocket.
Wait a minute, we don't need to tell them that because then we can't get it. Oh yeah, AT&T.
Yes. So a lot of times we're actually using AT&T, and then we switch back when it doesn't work.
Right.
Back and forth.
So one of the other considerations with cellular data is contracts. Used to be that you bought a device, you brought it to the carrier to activate it, and you had a 2-year contract that you had to sign. And then you were stuck with that 2-year contract, or had to put it on, or buy it out, or something like that if you decided to change.
The contract's bad. And actually the worst thing was if you ran out your contract, you did your 2 years, and you're still paying your bill, you still kept your old phone. Well, that contract was actually subsidizing the cost of your phone. They gave you your phone dirt cheap. And that's a good deal up front, but if the 2 years have passed and you're still paying full price on your regular monthly phone bill, you're basically giving a gift to AT&T or Verizon or Sprint, or wherever you bought your phone from. So that's horrible. If you've got a phone that you've had over 2 years, either get a new contract and a new phone, or get to a non-contract plan that will cost you less.
Right. So a lot of the carriers, especially T-Mobile's kind of leading the edge on this, and it's pushed AT&T to it. They're now offering a lot of no-contract plans, which makes it a lot more affordable. They're dropping the price.
It's like $15 on AT&T per
Yeah,
line.
they're on their mobile share plan. We'll get into that in just a second. But their mobile share plans, it's like only costs $15 to add a smartphone onto the plan to share a bucket of data, and there's no contract.
Yes,
but the catch is, you got to
oh my God, my phone now costs $700. They used to hide that cost. The phone still did used to cost $700, but you're paying for it over 2 years hidden in your bill. So now they have installment plans, and T-Mobile and AT&T are really both making this easy. Even Verizon has things like where you can basically pay for your phone over time, still get an upgrade after a year or 18 months, or if you don't get an upgrade, well, your payments drop, which is great. Just don't go in the regular traditional contracts anymore. Not a good idea.
Yeah, if you can avoid them. I mean, sometimes you...
Yeah. Anywhere you might get a sweet deal. But...
Right. Data caps are still prevalent on the cellular data networks. There used to be unlimited plans. Verizon used to have some, a lot of grandfathered in. If you have one, you might still be able to utilize it. You might have to work around to get it to actually be tetherable to your devices.
So tethering, what is tethering? Some of these people who might be first timers might not know what tethering is.
Right. Do we have a smartphone here? We didn't bring
the smartphones are all up here mounted doing video work.
So basically what tethering or personal hotspotting is when you're taking your smartphone, so iPhone, Android device, maybe a Windows device, or for those really old...
in the Palm lands, yes.
Palm has them too. It allows you to use that data, your cell phone, as a modem for your laptops, your other tablets or devices that you might be trying to connect.
And so a lot of when you hear, plans and services offering, hey, you've got unlimited data on your phone, well, that's very specifically forbidding tethering. So a lot of, the cheaper basic smartphones might have, $40 a month, all you can use data. Well, read the fine print, you cannot tether, and you cannot get your laptop online, because laptops can burn through data a lot faster than a phone can.
Right. So there's also some unlimited plans out there, like AT&T on the iPhone originally started out as unlimited. And a lot of people have kept those plans. But there's 2 downsides to that. Number one, you can't tether it or hotspot it legally or within terms of service. And it's really not unlimited. They start throttling your speeds after about 2.5 to 3 gigabytes of use in a month.
Throttling is like
slows down your
yes,
speed,
they
makes
slow
it
you down,
almost unusable.
And that's the way they try and force you off of unlimited. Is they make it painful. If you actually try and use your unlimited, well, it gets worse and worse and worse for a lot of carriers and a lot of plans.
Right. So we haven't really heard any stories yet of carriers locking down on people tethering when their plan technically doesn't allow it, but they do know.
And they reserve the right to go after you at some point, and they may or may not.
It's at your own risk if you want to continue to do that or not. There are ways around it. We don't teach them. We don't. We try to show what you can do that's accessible to most consumers. Let's see. Mobile share plans are kind of been a new development in the last year, right?
That's been longer than that, but they're starting to become really practical. So the mobile share plans is where you get a bucket of data, and this is really great for couples and families, is that you have a bucket that you can share amongst multiple devices, and it brings the average cost down, and you have less risk of overage because, well, if one person is using too much, hopefully the other person is not having a very busy month.
Right.
And one pro tip for using these mobile share plans is because they get a lot cheaper as you add on people, particularly people who don't use data, is add your parents. You probably don't add your kids because they probably use a lot of data, but add parents and relatives and whatnot into your bucket, and they tend not to be the heavy data users.
Right. So we're able to keep on AT&T a 15 gigabyte plan, and we share it with our parents and a brother on it, and they're all low data users, so we get the benefit of having the larger data bucket, but the costs get brought down by having everyone on the plan with us. So that really helps us a lot. So on the mobile share plans, you can put your tablets on it. You can put your Mifis or jetpacks, and also tethering from a smartphone. Now, a Mifi device.
Show and tell time.
This is a Mifi device.
That's our favorite one.
So this is the Pantech, and we'll get into Millennicom in just a second. This is basically, it's got so it used to be you had an air card like this. This is an old
there's a USB air card there, yeah.
And this is a USB
air card.
These would stick directly into your computer or a router, and then you would have to, then you would use this.
That computer would be online.
Then you'd get online, and they would receive the data. Now, what this is it basically has one of these inside of it, plus this is its own Wi-Fi repeater and router. So it can take the cellular data, and then it becomes a Wi-Fi hotspot that you can use this to get on up to 10 devices at a time on. So laptops, tablets, Nooks, Kindles, what else?
Anything
that you need to have to go on Wi-Fi on. These also have, this one has about a 10-hour battery in it, so you can take it with you hiking. You need to get online, maybe if you're doing some urban walking around.
And the advantage of this one versus this evil little old one is that this one works. The Pantech works. This is an old Novotel that we had horrible time with. So find a good hotspot that you can actually count on.
Right.
We really like the Pantech.
Right. These are really simple and easy to use. This is basically turn it on. It gets a signal.
And you have a hotspot.
And you have a hotspot. It just is a Wi-Fi hotspot that you can connect to from your laptop.
And this one actually has a really nice feature that it connects to the Verizon's network, and we might be losing. I guess we reconnected.
Okay,
so, okay, it's a small hop, and yep, we may. Okay, well, I'm just going to pretend it's going on. This one shows you how much data you've used per month on your current plan. So very, very useful to see that, and it's usually accurate.
Right. So those are the devices that you might be using.
Okay. Oh, had a little craziness there.
Hopefully we're back.
Okay,
right.
So we got to see you.
So you're back. All right. Like I said, mobile internet. This is what it happens. It cuts in and out.
Yeah. Some days I just wish I could run a fiber in the window.
Another option that's come up is T-Mobile. Now, if you have a tablet like an iPad or an Android device, they will sell you a little SIM card, which is a little tiny card that goes inside of LTE devices, and you can get 200 megabytes of LTE data and unlimited non-LTE data for free. And T-Mobile is a decent, respectable network. It works well in urban areas.
In urban areas, one tip on T-Mobile is don't rely on it for your maps while you're navigating, because they have lots and lots of dead zones between cities, even on major freeways. So T-Mobile can make you crazy if you're waiting for it to route your navigation. So
Right. So the MVNOs, or what does MVNO stand for?
Mobile Virtual Network Operators. They're people who have a brand name, but they don't own any cell towers. They're just leasing time on other people's network.
So our favorite is Millennicom, and they resell data on Verizon. You can get right now, it's a 20 gigabyte per month plan for $89.99 per month. No contract, no extra fees. And they just went up $20 a month.
Yes. It used to be an amazing deal. Now it's just a great deal. But Millennicom is still the best thing out there if you want to get bulk data for a MiFi type device. You buy 20 gigs at a time. You could buy multiple 20 gig buckets a month. So if you want 40 gigs, you can do that. If you want that much data, there's no other deal quite as good out there.
Right, not for mobile data.
And on Verizon's network, which is the biggest and broadest network.
There's another one, if you don't need 20 gigabytes per month and you don't want to go direct with the carrier, Straight Talk is now offering a hotspot, and that's Straight Talk is the one that you can buy at Walmart's. And they've got a Verizon plan. It's 3G only. You're not going to get the super fast LTE speeds, which is sometimes a blessing because you use it
don't use it as fast.
But you can buy it as you need it, and as little in buckets as little as 1 gigabyte to I think up to 5 gigabytes per month. And the cost is about $10 to $15 per gig. And it's a pretty good deal for those that just need enough to go on and check email.
Yeah, and particularly if it's bursty. If you only need it 1 month, but you're not going to need it the next because you're just the way your travels are working out. That's the way to go.
Millennicom used to offer a Sprint plan, and they lost that last year. There are currently 3 that we've tracked down that are offering the plan. There's a BMI Net, Wireless and Wi-Fi, and EVDO Depot USA. All offer variants of the plan. They're higher bandwidth, somewhere ranging from 30 gigabytes to 60 to up to.
EVDO Depot has got a fully true unlimited plan on their. It's actually they're mostly their market is rural home users. It's on Sprint's older WiMAX network, $125 a month, and it's might be worth checking out if you need unlimited data and you're in an area that has WiMAX, which is not a lot of areas, but if you're in an area that has that or plan to be a lot, you can actually go to town on all the data you want.
Right. So that's an option, and especially also for people that are living in rural areas that have good Sprint signal. Cellular boosters. Now, you're going to get some places where you might get maybe only 1 bar of signal, and there are ways to make that signal better.
A booster makes doesn't do magic. It doesn't pull signals out of nowhere, but it'll make a horrible signal bearable, and it'll make a bearable signal usable, is kind of what the best a booster can do.
Right. Unfortunately, the booster market right now is a little, we don't have any strong recommendations right now, because the FCC just put into effect a whole bunch of new regulations that booster companies are having to meet with their new products, and those just went into effect on May 1st. Right. So there's only been 3 weeks. I believe Wilson's new mobile 4G 5-band booster
is now shipping. We haven't had a chance to test it yet.
We have not gotten one yet. They're kind of on back order.
Yeah.
And there's several more that we're in the know of that are coming out. I think our neighbors are doing stuff out there. There's several more that are coming out. And I would honestly say if you don't need a booster right away, wait about 2 or 3 months and then check the reviews from a lot of people that are, because a lot of us will be getting them and testing them, and you'll have a lot more data to go on to make the choice of what actually is working well.
And the main advantage of the new boosters is boosters, by boosting a signal, if you're in a place with a strong signal and you've got your booster turned on, it can cause a lot of interference. It actually can take down the cell tower for other people who are connected to it. And the old boosters were not particularly smart, so the FCC is stepping in for pretty good reasons and saying, hey, these boosters have to have the smarts in them of they'll automatically turn themselves off or dial down in places they're not needed, and they'll avoid interference, and they will try not to make the network worse for other people, just better for where they can do their job. So old boosters, you really legally can't buy them anymore, and the new buns,
they're just starting to hit the market. Yeah. If you need one right away, the Wilson's always had a solid product.
Yeah, the Wilson Sleek 4G.
Oh, well, then I'm talking about the 5-band booster.
Yes. But okay, and this has been a good one for a while. They now have a version of this that is a 5-band. We assume it'll be good. This is the Wilson Sleek 4GV, which is Verizon only. It boosts 1 device at a time. So we stick our MiFi in the slot right there and leave this in the closet, hooked up to an antenna on the roof, and that gives us a Wi-Fi signal for the rest of the bus. Really great combination, and this booster is really cheap. It's
like $130. Yeah, it's pretty affordable as far as boosters go.
Yes, there's other much more powerful ones, but that's a good basic way to go.
There's also antennas that you can get. They're more passive. They're not going to actually have power to them to boost the signal. But sometimes just height, just having the antenna on top of your roof and getting away from the obstructions that your RV causes.
Particularly if your RV is made of metal, like ours is. Metal walls block signal, and so being inside a metal box is horrible for signal. Getting something on the roof makes all the difference in the world.
Right. So those are some options for now. So the antennas alone can be much more affordable, and they can help a little bit. Yeah. And we know people that's all they need. That's enough to help out. So like Chris said, a booster isn't going to do magic. It's not going to make nothing into something, but it can turn can make the situation better and at least get you online to get that email answered that you need.
Yes, and the places we recommend to get good tech support and advice and recommendations on boosters has been, in our experience, we've gotten good RVers have a great experience with PowerfulSignal.com and 3GStore.com.
Right. So if you have questions on them and you can buy, we don't sell this stuff. We're not here to sell you this equipment. Right. We just report what we've learned in using and testing this out here. Okay, so another option for getting online is using public Wi-Fi spots. And
so like the campground we're in has 3 Wi-Fi hotspots scattered about. They're all basically unusable because there's so many people camped here.
Right. So that's one of the problems with you occasionally will come across an RV park that has done their Wi-Fi network just perfectly, and you can have a pretty reliable connection. It's fast. You can get online, and as long as too many people aren't streaming video, it'll work pretty well. Some parks, they invest in it. They know it's important. They know that's what RVers want and need.
And other parks spend their money on things like cable TV or swimming pools and all this other crazy stuff. It's like, give us Wi-Fi.
Right. It does cost a lot to put in a Wi-Fi network that can cover acres and acres of land and cover hundreds of RVers who are bandwidth hungry.
What some parks do is they invest in coverage, having signal reach everywhere in their park, but then they have it all going upstream via one basic little DSL line that, you've got now 100 people sharing basically one teeny tiny little pipe.
So basically, if you take what you had in your sticks and bricks home and you try to share that with 200 people, you can see it's going to degrade pretty slowly.
And I wish there was a place to find RV parks like this one is great Wi-Fi, like certified, stamped. I don't want a good sand park. I want a good Wi-Fi park.
And just keep in mind when you're reading some people do report it in their RV park reviews. If you go to like RV Parking or RVParkReviews.com, some people do report how the Wi-Fi worked for them or didn't work for them. And you just have to remember what one person's good Wi-Fi isn't another's.
Right.
And when you are using park Wi-Fi, try to be a good, conscientious user. They're not put there, unless the park says, hey, this is good for streaming video.
Save your streaming for late at night.
Yeah, do it during non-peak hours. There's a lot of people online, and when someone is doing a high-def video over the park Wi-Fi, it's bringing it down for everybody else.
And if people are torrenting over park Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Right. But other places to get public Wi-Fi include cafes and restaurants, so Starbucks, Panera's, McDonald's.
I've spent days at libraries. Some days you just say, I'm going to have a commute day. I'm going to drive to the library and work all day and take advantage of great fast Wi-Fi. And
it's a great way. He gets out of the house, I get the house to myself. Right. And that's fun. I like that. I like kicking you out.
And it's good. It's good. Don't always think you have to do all your connectivity in your RV. You go someplace and take advantage of it.
Right. Hotel lobbies and airports sometimes offer it. Now, there are paid public Wi-Fi hotspots, and there are free ones. Things like TangoNet, you might see in some campgrounds.
A lot of campgrounds have Tango.
They might give you a pass for free, or they might give you, you pay to access
a certain amount per day. And almost always we find that, I don't think I've ever found a paid Wi-Fi connection that was worth paying for.
But we could be wrong. We've had some really frustrating experiences too. And you don't find out until you've paid for it.
Right, and that's the thing that makes it really crazy.
The downsides to using public Wi-Fi. Variable quality, just like we said. Just because there's Wi-Fi doesn't mean it's going to be fast. One trick that we do is when we go to a public Wi-Fi spot, so if we're sitting down, maybe going to Panera or Starbucks or something like that, and we know we have a video to upload or OS updates to our devices,
Yeah. We'll do a speed test before we order dinner. It's like, a lot of times we go out and we're going to take advantage of Wi-Fi, but we need a signal, so we'll do a speed test. If the order doesn't work, if the speed test doesn't work, we don't order. We go to the next restaurant that has free Wi-Fi and see if they have fast signal.
Right. Public Wi-Fi may be a little less secure. A lot of people are afraid to do banking or logging in with things. Those really aren't as much of a concern.
Your banking is fine. It's when you're logging into forms and you're logging in with the same password that you use for your bank. That's when the eavesdropper can get you. They can't get you when you're going to things that have the HTTPS up in the top or the little padlock on your browser. The connection between your device and your bank is completely secure, short of the NSA getting involved.
Right. There's no such thing as completely secure. That's the first thing you have to understand with the internet.
But you're just as secure as if you're on a wired connection or your own private connection. But you're connecting to a forum or just regular browsing that doesn't have that security. That stuff is completely free and clear. Anybody who's on the same network can listen in. And if you're using the same logins and passwords for those non-secure sites as you're using for secure sites, you're asking for trouble on a public network.
Right. And the other downside of Wi-Fi is the speeds. Even a cable connection coming in, most of them are slower now than LTE. That's kind of a cool thing that's happened since we've hit the road. Is now wireless data on cellular is faster than what most can be.
Go late at night. That's when it works. Okay. So now, cellular boosting and Wi-Fi boosting are different things. We've had some people be confused. They think they get one booster and it's going to do both, and it's like, no, you boost them sepaally. But there are, just like there are cellular, well, actually often they're in the same frequencies, but the different boosting, there's different technologies. So Wi-Fi boosters are a separate device, and if you want to get something up on your roof that'll boost the Wi-Fi signal, that can actually work wonders for campground Wi-Fi in particular. Because if you think, way up at the campground office, way up yonder, there is a tower, a little, outside Wi-Fi antenna. And it's, probably, hopefully they invested in something big and powerful, and it's sitting up there yelling. It's like, hey, I'm up here. And then you go all the way back to where you're camped, you've got just your dinky iPad or a laptop, and it doesn't have a big antenna in it, and it doesn't have a powerful radio in it, so it's whispering back up to that tower way up there. And so when you have a Wi-Fi booster, what it really is a Wi-Fi hotspot sitting up on your roof with a more powerful radio and a bigger antenna, and it has a much better chance of talking up to the tower way up front. It
takes that whisper of an antenna from your device and makes it audible so that the other tower can actually hear it. Right. So what are some of you can do just antennas like that are out there. There's a lot of things online where you can just find an antenna. You can probably pick them up for sometimes $50, $100. You can build your own to increase your Wi-Fi range.
Most laptops don't have antenna ports anymore, so you've got to actually then have a separate Wi-Fi card with an antenna port that goes up to the roof.
Right. So one solution is these little gizmos are referred to as Wi-Fi as WAN. Wide Area Network.
Yeah. So, this is a Wi-Fi Ranger.
Right.
And one of the features of a Wi-Fi Ranger and some of the other routers that are catering to the RV market is that they can listen to one network out in the distance and then rebroadcast it as a local connection. So it has one connection upstream and then a private local network just for you, both wired, it's got wired ports there, or wireless inside your coach that is private just for you. And then one upstream connection that's doing the talking for you upstream.
The other thing is you can plug your MiFi device right into the router, and then you can control where this is getting its data from the public Wi-Fi. If it's working well, it can fail back to this if this is working better. And then all your devices that are connecting to it don't have to worry about switching between this and that.
You don't have to go to all your phones and your light bulbs. Our light bulbs are on Wi-Fi. I'm assuming yours are probably too. But yeah, we have everything just talking to one router, and then we don't have to change the connections on our devices, our laptops, our iPads, or phones.
Right. So it simplifies it. There's other companies. Pepwave makes a similar device, and Cradlepoint makes one as well. Yep. I highly recommend if you go to Jack Mayer's website. He's linked to, if you look underneath the chat, he's linked down below. He has a great review comparing and contrasting the Wi-Fi Ranger to the Pepwave to the Cradlepoint, and which one works better. They're always changing this technology.
So again, just like any antenna, height is your friend. So you can have a Wi-Fi Ranger like that and just set it up in your coach, and it's going to have a better a better radio and a more powerful radio than your laptop will, very likely. But if you have something that is actually on the roof, so an external, they're much more expensive, but there's a Wi-Fi Ranger Mobile, or there's other things like that.
We use the Sky.
Yeah, we have a Wi-Fi Ranger Sky. Actually up on the roof, those things make tons of difference getting that altitude.
Right, and this is also, it's a router, so you can also hook in things like printers and other devices. We have a Ethernet port that we use to connect in other stuff, right?
Yep, yeah, we've got everything hooked up to it.
Yep.
Satellite.
Is the third option?
Yes. Satellite used to be the gold standard for getting online as an RVer. You'd see the big fancy Class A's and Prevos and stuff with the Motosat antenna with the glowing blue satellite dish on top, and it's great. You can get online anywhere you go. That you can get a view of the southern sky, and even all the way up into the boonies and into Alaska and out in places that are so remote. But that was 10 years ago, and even 5 years ago.
So, the RVers that went way before us, that was how they get online, and they can get online in some amazing places, and you still can.
And we had a satellite dish for a while. The problem with the satellite dishes is, A, they're big and bulky and kind of initially expensive. The satellite experience is you're talking via a thing floating in space 26,000 miles away, so there's a lot of lag. So you say, hello, and then they hear, hello, wait, like not seconds later, but enough that anything interactive online is very painful, and they have pretty extreme data limits on how much you can use them. So there's all these downsides to satellite, and then as cellular rolled out all across the country, more and more places, even rural places, were in range of decent 3G or 4G cellular. So all the people who were using satellite started canceling their service, and the companies that were providing it ended up starting going out of business. So the people who are catering to the RVing market are all gone now. So if you want satellite internet, it's still available, but you've got to go now to the people who are catering to oil field installations and mobile command centers and all these things where the budget is a lot higher, the data caps are a lot lower, and for the most part, with a few exceptions, satellite just isn't practical for RVers anymore.
Well, some people, if you're going to be out of cell phone range often enough, it can still make sense to jump through those hoops to set it up. The equipment now can be purchased pretty quickly, cheaply.
Well, you can actually get it for free, because we couldn't even give our dish away when we decided we wanted to stop carrying it. You'll find people, if you go to the Datastorm users group, you'll find people offering up even robotic roof mount systems free. Just come get it off my rig. So if you want to play with satellite, you can get your equipment really cheap or free right now, and go to town out in the boonies.
Just make sure you're buying something from a former RVer or current RVer, so that you know that it is something that can be used across the country, that it's not spot beam technology, which is what HughesNet and stuff are now promoting.
Now, all the satellite services, to get more capacity for their rural customers and to get more speed, they've gone to, instead of one signal covering the entire country, they have lots and lots of little signals, which is great if you've got a satellite dish on your cabin out in the wood, out someplace, but your receiver is only tuned to that one transmitter, and that only covers about 100-mile range. So it doesn't work so well for an RVer. You drive out of that circle, you no longer have satellite service. So only the very old equipment supports the nationwide thing. In the HughesNet case, it's the HN7000S modem is the one to get. You can find them used on eBay. And all the new stuff is spot beam only, so you got to be very careful.
Right. And you'll have to jump through the hoops pretty much yourself, or go to the Datastorm users
go to Datastorm user groups and figure out how to use it, and how
to get it activated, and what the costs are going to be. But in our opinion, satellite only makes sense for those that are going to be outside of cell phone range often enough.
Very often, yes. And we talked already about sort of satellite downsides.
So we're getting to other options. So if you are going to be staying someplace for more than a month, it sometimes makes sense to seek out an RV park that offers cable hookups at site, because that means you can probably subscribe to cable internet. And sometimes having that unlimited hardwire coming in, it's
like heaven. And we discovered this. We had spent a couple months in Florida last winter, and I guess the winter before last, and we realized, hey, this is a park that supports long-term residents, and we called up the cable company, and it's like, no, there's no contract, there was no installation fee.
It was like $19 to install.
Trivial installation fee, and the guy was there the next afternoon.
Right,
and
you just
less
rent
than
the
24 hours, we had cable modem installed, and ridiculously fast bandwidth.
And unlimited.
Unlimited.
More
And we're like,
importantly,
why didn't we do this the day we walked into this park?
Right.
Yeah, so if you're measuring your stay in months, look into it right when you get someplace.
Or if you've got a project coming up that you need to stop and be online for a lot, sometimes it's worthwhile to seek them out. So look for places that have seasonal spots, that offer seasonal spots, so maybe things that have 2 and 3 month specials. Look for mobile home parks, and just ask if they have cable running to the sites.
And sometimes it's just a nice perk.
Yes. So that's one option. The other thing is entertainment on the road. Obviously, streaming video and content can be costly, or you need to keep an unlimited plan, which you can still do. But there's other ways to look at entertainment. We find we actually enjoy Redbox and Netflix discs.
No signal online is ever going to give you the experience of a high-res Blu-ray disc. So yeah, go out and rent one. It's $1.50.
$1.50 at Redbox.
And you're getting a Blu-ray has 50 gigs of data on it. So imagine how much that would have cost to download 50 gigs.
Yes. So you get really a high-quality experience. You're paying $1.50 a night for it, and then you return it to any Redbox the next day. So it's great for us in-transit travelers. Sometimes if we're just like overnighting at a Walmart, they usually have them there. That's kind of a treat after a long day of driving. Go in.
And one other thing to do, and this actually might involve a Walmart or might involve Amazon, is for TV series, we would buy the entire series when they come out in the box sets, buy the series, work our way through watching it. You never have a buffering, you never have a delay, you never have a problem starting the connection. Watch the entire series, and then we usually would give it to a friend or sometimes sell it again. And that's how we could watch a lot of great TV series in super high res.
Right. And if TV is really important to you,
there's unlimited streaming from space
called satellite TV. And a lot of RVs come with it already pre-installed, and you can get it as a second. You can even get a little one that goes out as like a box thing that you can put outside on the ground. Dish Gator, I think they're calling it. Tailgater. So satellite. If TV is important to you, and just because you're full-time RVing doesn't mean that you're camping or on vacation. It doesn't necessarily mean the same thing. You're still living life. There is no shame in watching TV programs. And there are some people who will say, oh, but you're in an RV, you're camping, just go outside and enjoy nature.
Yes. But you can watch the Nature Channel, so, why go outside?
Yeah. There is no shame in watching entertainment. There's no shame in watching TV. Don't let anyone talk you into that.
Yeah, particularly if you're a full-timer.
Right. And there's also no shame in going out and enjoying nature too. So.
Particularly if you're full-time.
So our arsenal.
What we currently have, yes.
We do keep the Millennicom Verizon hotspot plan for $90 a month.
20 gigabytes, and that's our primary connection usually.
Right. We do keep a AT&T mobile share plan for our iPhones. We have
actually 15 gigs right now.
Yeah, we have the 15 gig plan. It's costing us, because like I said, we split it with parents and things like that. I think our costs are coming somewhere between $130 and $150 a month for that, and that's including
our voice phones,
and
talk and text.
Right. Our iPad that we're broadcasting this on, we pay $30 a month for that unlimited plan. If we ever miss a payment on that, we lose it forever.
And if we ever wanted to cash in, or if you want one like this, you could find them on just the plans being sold for these iPads on eBay for $800-900.
Last time I checked, they're ranging between $700 and $900 just for the plan, and you still have to have your own iPad to transfer the plan onto.
Yep. That's very handy.
So it is for us. It's this is what we watch TV on. We do a lot of streaming on.
This is our Netflix device. We hook this up to the TV with with HDMI out and watch.
Right. We also do keep Millennicom, when they offered their iPad, this iPad we bought from Millennicom with their T-Mobile deal. So we do keep the 500 megabyte plan for $10 a month on it. So that gives us a backup source of data. Sometimes
and a chance to test T-Mobile. So that's
right. So we're testing that out. So what are we paying? So
we got Wi-Fi when we can get it, and a box of wine. That's part of our arsenal.
Yeah, so $210. I think we're about $260 a month is what we pay for our connectivity. And yeah, that sounds high, but I look at what we used to pay for connectivity when we lived in a sticks and bricks. And between having a cellular plan, a cable line run in, plus we all had a data plan because we traveled anyway.
Yeah, and the cable TV plans are ridiculous expensive. So this is cheap, and we're on the go.
And it's essential to us. For us, we couldn't be mobile if we didn't have connectivity. And just having all, we're versatile. Chris, if you scroll down at the bottom, about halfway down the page in the article section, there's an article that Chris did back in January when we were back in Cedar Key.
Yes.
And he compared Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and campground Wi-Fi, and he did speed tests all around the campground and just showed how variable it can be.
So for those of us who depend on connections, the more options you have, the better. If you can go weeks or months without good connections, well, fine, yeah, do it. Yeah, that's great. The more you spend, the more options you have, and it's a good thing.
Right. So that's the content that we had prepared to update this this chat. We